For the past few days, a highly unfortunate and historically flawed narrative has been pushed into the public domain. We are being told by some people that rendering the full official version of Vande Mataram at state functions is an unnecessary and burdensome imposition on the audience. We are told that because it is a lengthy composition, it lacks efficiency, and because Parliament has not passed a specific statute, it remains a mere matter of optional state-level convention. So let's correct the record. Respecting a foundational pillar of national identity is never a question of administrative convenience or time efficiency. To call the singing of our national song an imposition is to fundamentally misunderstand the structural integration of the Indian Union and the explicit directives that govern our state ceremonies. What we need to understand is every single administrative protocol in a democracy does not require a separate act of parliament. The Ministry of Home Affairs has laid down clear, unambiguous operational guidelines for the rendering of national symbols at official functions. And under these explicit executive protocols, whenever Vande Mataram is performed at designated state events, such as ceremonies or the formal arrival and departure of presidents or state governors, the full official version must be rendered. These directives flow natively from the executive authority of the Union under the Constitution of India. A state government cannot selectively decide which national protocols it chooses to comply with, nor can a sovereign state treat a Ministry of Home Affairs mandate as an optional menu item. Also, the Union Cabinet has explicitly brought Vande Mataram under the legal protection of the Prevention of Insults to National Honour Act 1971, placing disrespect to its rendition on par with the national anthem. Now let's look at the history that the critics conveniently skip over. The argument that Vande Mataram holds a less purely conventional status compared to the Jana Gana Mana is completely debunked by the text of our founding fathers. On Jan 24, 1950, the President of the Constituent Assembly, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, issued a historic binding statement. He declared, and I quote, "The song Vande Mataram, which has played a historic part in the struggle for Indian freedom, shall be honoured equally with Jana Gana Mana and shall have equal status with it." So the phrase used was honoured equally. It was not a footnote, it was a constitutional parity. In November 2022, the Government of India filed a formal affidavit before the Delhi High Court explicitly reaffirming this exact status, that both Jana Gana Mana and Vande Mataram stand on the same level and command identical structural respect from every citizen of this republic. And when Bankim Chandra Chatterjee wrote this anthem in the 1870s, and when the colonial British administration banned its public recital, thousands of freedom fighters did not march into prisons arguing over whether the stanzas were too long or burdensome to stand for. They sang it as a uniform cry of defiance against a colonial empire trying to force "God save the king" upon Indian subjects. So to argue today that standing for 3 minutes and 10 seconds is a strain or an administrative burden is an insult to the historic sacrifice embedded in those very chords. National symbols are not designed for human convenience, they are designed for national reverence. True federalism means respecting regional diversity, but it also demands absolute allegiance to the shared, unified protocols of the Union. Thank you and Jai Hind.